This is John Young with the Disc Jockey News. Today we're going to be looking at the Peavey Dark Matter series speakers here. We've got a 112 top and we've got a 115 sub below here. And we're going to be looking at a variety of different things with these two speakers. But first we're going to go through and we're going to look at the 112 top and some of the features on the background. Then we'll be doing a separate video with the subwoofer, looking at its features and such. And then we're going to do one where we combine the two and talk about what they sound like and give you guys an idea of what they sound like with the different settings and such. So let's dive into our first video, which will be the top speaker. So we're going to start by looking at the DM112. This is, again, the Dark Matter series here from Peavey. This particular unit is a 12-inch two-way. It has a built-in amplifier. This has a 1,000 watt amplifier, which truthfully doesn't mean much in this day and age when it comes to speakers, because we're really looking at what kind of a sound pressure we're able to get on our dance floor. That's what it really boils down to. You can have a gazillion watts, but if they're not efficient cabinets, if they don't sound good, the wattage means nothing. So don't look at that. You can go to the spec sheets and you guys can find out more information about the wattage and the SPL and all like that, but I'm going to go with real world applications where I can tell you more about that. But first, let's look at some of the functionality. You've got your input here. You've got your through if you need to do that. You've got your gain, your mic. You can have a mic input or the line input. Gain, as you can see, it's down a little bit, and I'll talk about that when we go to the video where we have the two speakers together, the 115 sub below. But you have a lot of DSP going on here, advanced digital signal processing. Now you see right now, if I can zoom in here, there you go. You can see I've got it set to acoustic. I'm going to push that so we can go and check out the different presets. We'll go to the top. So we start out with an EDM preset. I'm going to switch hands so I can do this a little easier. And we go to DJ and rock and country. I went through and listened to each and every preset here. And I did that, of course, the empty ones, I didn't do that. My preference for sound quality was acoustic. Now that, when I was using it just by itself, EDM I thought was the best one for my application. So if I'm using it as a top by itself, I would have probably used it as EDM. Yep, there it is, EDM. The DJ, I didn't like that setting because it seemed that the highs were very, very present and almost a little bit on the harsh side. I don't tend to like that much cymbal in my sound. Now, if you like that, you're going to love the DJ setting. That was the only thing. Otherwise, the vocals and everything came through very, very well. But my preference was number 5 at acoustic when I was using it above the subwoofer. It had a nice sound. The highs were there. They were present, but I really liked that setting. So you've got your different presets and such. You can go and you can set delay and you can do your polarity and you can adjust. There's a little bit of EQing and such to do some different things. Not a ton of different capability back here. But there we go. We're back to the it gives you just a little bit. And I like those different settings because there's times where you're going to get into a venue where you might be, say those highs are being just sucked up by the acoustics of the room. And maybe going to the DJ setting would make sense. Or there's times where the room is sounding boomy and maybe one of the different settings is going to remove some of that boominess of that. There's a technical term for you. Anyway, it's just kind of a neat little thing. It's got a little bit of protection and such. It also has the little light that when you start pushing it too hard, it will flicker red, letting you know that you're pushing the speaker too hard, which is kind of a cool thing that all Peavey amplifiers and things have had for years. And of course the Dark Matter series also has that ability to tell you you're pushing it too hard. So you see that, you can back off just a little bit and off you go. In my testing, I had this very, very loud, meaning to the point that you could hear it in the house just about as clear as it was outside. And I wasn't getting red. The subwoofer, yes, I was getting some red showing up on that, but nothing on the top. We'll put a link in the description so you can check this out, but this is the Dark Matter, again, the 112 top. It is a plastic cabinet, a nice looking cabinet overall. I think you can check that out. One thing I really like about it is that it's a very lightweight. Again, it's a plastic cabinet, so you're not getting the wood sound, but it's very, very lightweight, so it's very easy to use. Now, back when I was a multi-system DJ and I was hiring a lot of smaller statured people, this would have been a perfect option. Another thing I want to show you, if we can zoom in here, get over here and show you this. Oh, I can't, there's wires in the way. There's a knob back here. That's a little bit of a set knob. If I can get, there you go, we can see it there. That allows us to get this on the pole and tighten that up so it snugs down on the speaker stand so it's not going to turn. That's one of my biggest frustrations when I'm using speakers top over a subwoofer, that as the evening goes on, you all of a sudden go boing, 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 and the next thing you know, it's like aimed towards the wall or something. Having that little little knob there to a little set screw right there. That's just such a fabulous thing. I wish that would be in more speakers. I know it's kind of a pain in the butt, and if you don't retract it and you go to put it on, it catches. But if you know what you're doing and you pay attention to it, that's just a great little feature. Anyway, handles. I really, for the price point of the Dark Matter series, it's definitely something that an introductory or an entry-level DJ who's getting into the DJ world definitely needs to check out. If you're a smaller statured person and you can't throw some of those big 18-inch subwoofers around in the big 15-inch tops, the Dark Matter series is going to give you a good sound. It's going to give you something you can manage to move around easily, and it's not going to break the bank. Great little cabinets here from Peavey. One thing you are hearing, though, and I don't know if you can hear it above the wind, there's a little bit of a breeze today, is the fans. That is one knock against the Peavey speakers, is that the fans are pretty, they're consistent, but they're out there and you can hear them. I can hear both the fan on the top and the subwoofer. Subwoofer is just a little louder than the top cabinet, but we do have fan noise. On one hand, that's a little annoying if you're behind the speaker like we are right now, but on the other hand, I know that the fans are working and are keeping my amplifiers cool, so it's, there's a trade-off. When you're right in front, you don't hear it whatsoever, so that's kind of a cool thing, is that the noise is behind the speaker, and we get up here and we're not really hearing anything for the fan noise. I guess there's just a slight fan noise. You put any kind of music to it and it just disappears, of course, because it's being eaten up by the music. Once again, these are the Peavey Dark Matter 112. That's the top. We'll put a link in the description below so you can go check these out. We'll be looking at the Dark Matter 115 sub in our next video.